Although hidden from history due to race, there are several black inventors who have shaped our lives and the future. Like it or not, they are part of our national consciousness. There are many more who have directly influenced the US society, culture, and future in many ways. You would think these men and women would be celebrated and taught about in schools. Instead, their achievements have largely been omitted from the canons of other innovators. Here are 3 black American inventors who changed the chemical industry, the garment business, household work, and telecommunications industries. Number 1. Norbert Rillieux, 1806 to 1894. Sugar. Abundant in quantity today and consumed without much thought, sugar was once a luxury item restricted only to the wealthy. High prices were a result of limited supplies, and those limits existed because sugar processing was not just challenging, it was dangerous. Sugarcane juices were boiled until every trace of water evaporated, leaving sugar crystals. Enslaved Africans labored to scoop out rapidly thickening liquid from one open cauldron to another. Working conditions for the enslaved Africans were excessive. They slaved away in sweltering, life-threatening conditions, where lack of rest and serious injuries were the norm. To the slave plantation owners, the fuel boiling the sugarcane juice was both costly and precious, and therefore considered more valuable than the lives of the slaves who toiled over the open cauldrons of boiling sugarcane juice. This was the standard method of sugar production, until Norbert Rillieux, one of the earliest chemical engineers, came and changed all that. Rillieux was a French-speaking Creole, a free black man who was educated in Paris, since New Orleans schools would not admit him, seeing he was a non-white. Blacks were prohibited from all forms of education back then. He excelled in engineering, particularly on projects that utilized steam. He wrote papers about steam engines and ways of maximizing the vapor in a vessel heated by steam. While in Europe, he also theorized the ways to improve the evaporation of sugar juice, a process he became familiar with when he was a boy. He returned to New Orleans to apply his ideas. He devised an effective mechanical multi-step method for the juice production. This new method increased sugar production by connecting several sealed vacuum pans together with pipes and linking one of those pans to a steam engine. Instead of heating each individual pan with a flame below it, steam from the engine boiled the liquid in the first pan. The vapor produced during the evaporation process wasn't wasted. It instead directed through a pipe to the next pan to heat it. Each successive pan was heated by the vapor of the previous pan. The sugar liquid, which also flowed from pan to pan, increased in concentration with each step, and this process saved on fuel and increased production. Lastly, Rillieux employed the thermodynamic principle that pressure and temperature follow each other. As one changes, so does the other. By lowering the pressure of each successive pan, he could estimate the temperature needed to boil the juice, and prevented the sugar from caramelizing. The inventor revolutionized sugar processing by taming steam and thermodynamics. Rillieux's apparatus, now called the multiple effect evaporator, is used in modern industries worldwide, such as food processing, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. His name was once well known, and many sugar processing firms in the 19th century prided themselves on using a Rillieux system. Curiously, but not at all surprising, all references to him evaporated in the last century. Yet it cannot be denied. It is clear this pioneering brilliance in chemical engineering made our lives sweeter. Number 2. Sarah Marshall Boone, 1832 to 1904. The corset was a fashion craze in the 19th century. This fitted undergarment ushered in an age when dresses had very narrow midsections. In the late 19th century, an hourglass shape was proclaimed as a thing of beauty, but the tiny waists made it difficult for dressmakers, who needed to iron out wrinkles before putting their wares on display. The common arrangement for ironing at the time was a long rectangular plank placed between 2 chairs. Yet the shape of the plank made it nearly impossible to insert it into a dress and to press and iron onto wrinkles at a narrow waist or small sleeve. A wrinkled garment would not attract customers, so ironing became a serious obstacle to profits. One inventor named Sarah Boone overcame this problem by creating a new ironing board. Boone was born on a North Carolina plantation in 1847. She married James Boone, a freeman who likely bought her freedom. By 1856, they moved to New Haven, Connecticut, which was a hub of industry from carriages to clocks. New Haven was also the epicenter of the corset industry, producing nearly 70% of the world's supply. Boone was a dressmaker who decided to come up with a better way to iron these tight-fitted dresses. She received the US patent number 473,653 on April 26, 1892 for an ironing board. Her objective, as she stated in her patent application, was to produce a cheap, simple, convenient, and highly effective device particularly adapted to be used in ironing the sleeves and bodies of ladies' garments. Many of the elements of her design are common in ironing boards today. Her board narrowed at one end, and it was padded and collapsible. It isn't clear whether Boone made any money from her innovation or not, but I doubt she did. Some scholars argue that acquiring a patent was an achievement, particularly since she was one of the first African American women to do so. She lived in a time when society put limit on black people. Boone not only came up with a unique design, but she also learned to read and write so she could study comparable inventions and fill out her patent application. Teaching the enslaved to read back then was an illegal act in the South when Boone was growing up. She probably learned to read and write as an adult, however, probably at the church she attended. Her patent not only highlights her ingeniousness, it characterizes the spirit of self-actualization held by freed black people. Formerly enslaved people wanted to enter society, improve themselves, and make a better life for their children. Boone did so as a homeowner, an entrepreneur, and as a pillar of her community. She was also an engineering vanguard. While there are no monuments to honor her memory, her brainchild sits in the closet of almost every home today. Number 3. James West. Since the launch of the telephone, society has been captivated by it. But the first telephone was beset by shortcomings. Alexander Graham Bell's invention had difficulty picking up certain consonants, which is why Thomas Edison improved the microphone became the standard way of converting sound vibrations into an electrical signal. But even Edison's invention had a limitation. It required a large battery to operate. That changed when James West, or Jim, created the microphone that revolutionized the way we communicate. West was born in Virginia and had dreams of becoming a scientist. His parents tried to dissuade him because his father knew 3 black chemists who couldn't get a work in a laboratory. His parents' opposition was so strong, they refused to pay for his college tuition. Despite this, West struck out on his own and eventually enrolled at Temple University in Philadelphia. While a student there, he spotted an ad for a summer internship at Bell Labs. Bell Labs was the birthplace of storied innovations such as the transistor and the precursor to the laser. Getting an internship at the lab was a chance to dwell among science elite, and West leaped at the opportunity and got it. As an intern, West's task was to make a set of headphones. His design consisted of a stretched sheet of plastic or mylar hovering over a metal plate. The plastic sheet was connected to one end of the power supply, and a metal plate was connected to the other, giving them an opposite charge. When an oscillating electrical signal was introduced, the plastic mylar responded by vibrating, which created a sound. One day, West accidentally disconnected the power supply and then heard something strange. A sound was coming from his supposedly powerless headphones. After investigating, he discovered that the mylar plastic was storing an electrical charge, making it possible for his headphones to work without added power. In the Bell Labs library, he found that there was a class of materials called electricates that stored electrical charge, and that mylar was one of them. This discovery sparked his microphone idea. In headphones, electrical signals transform into sound. In a microphone, the reverse happens, and sound transforms to an electrical signal. West decided to make a microphone using this strange behaving material. It worked, and this was a breakthrough. By eliminating the battery, West's microphones could be miniaturized. Today, his invention is standard around the world, in telephones, cell phones, computers, tablets, and hearing aids. Nearly 2 billion are made annually. Yet few people have heard of the scientists who made communication possible for all to enjoy today.
The time in the 60s when we started this work, you couldn't buy a condenser microphone for less than $2,000. By eliminating the need for the battery, this meant that you could make something very simple.
Rillieux, Boone, and West are just a few of the thousands of Black inventors who have touched our lives in so many ways, each overcoming racial prejudice and numerous challenges to bring their innovations to the realization that enriches so many lives to this day. What connects them all to us is their indomitable desire to create. Every person has the capacity to create something, from an apple pie to an algorithm. We must nurture this ability within our generation and the next. Let us help and encourage our young people to aspire to their goals so that one day their dreams can become a rewarding reality. Let us all highlight and celebrate the achievements among our diverse people. The achievements of these innovators and our celebration of them will ensure them and their inventions are never again forgotten nor deliberately hidden from the pages of history. Creativity is a part of our communal heritage. The ability of these Black inventors to overcome major obstacles, both social, financial, and technical, can and should inspire all of us to persevere against the odds and to see and use challenges as stepping stones into the future. Thank you for watching.